What's the most logical place to start?
It depends on their budget. So I have clients that have a very low budget and they want to look at properties that are $500. I have other clients with millions of dollars and they want to do bigger deals. Maybe they want to do a ranch. So, or, a big parcel to subdivide. It just depends on the budget. I'd say our bread and butter deal is about.
Hello, everyone. Let's dive into the land universe with Mark Podolsky. This is the original land geek. He started back in 2001 with only $3,000 and built his empire from there. Fast forward today, he's penned the book Dirt Rich, and he guides and mentors other land investors on how to build a lifestyle without the constant grind. He leads Frontier Properties, and they've done over 5,500 land deals. He's the host of the popular podcast, The Best Passive Income Model, and also the creator of geekpay.io. Mark now spends a lot of his time mentoring and coaching newer land investors to help them along in the same journey that he's on and create financial freedom. So this will be an important podcast to listen to. Let's hop into the show with the legend himself, the land geek, Mark Podolsky. Mark, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Brandon, thank you so much for having me. My pulse is still normal. Respiration's fine. I can't complain.
Well, you probably have a nice low respiration with all the automation and systems you've built for your lifestyle, huh?
No, absolutely. It's just the way to grow any business, not just the land business.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think what's your niche and what's the main thing that people can take away from how you operate in land?
The way I think about land is it's like the ultimate subscription model in a way. So I know I can just kind of walk you through the model if you want. So Brandon, where do you live?
Santa Cruz, California.
Santa Cruz, California. Okay, let's assume that you own 5 acres of raw land in Colorado and you owe $200 in back taxes. So you're advertising 2 important things. Number one, you have no emotional attachment to that raw land. You're in California, the property's in Colorado. And number 2, you're distressed financially in some weird way because we don't pay for things like our property taxes. We don't value them in the same way. As a result, the county treasurer keeps sending you notices saying, Brand, if you don't pay your property taxes, you're going to lose that property to a tax lien or tax deed investor. So all I'm going to do is look at the comparable sales on your 5-acre parcel for the last 12 to 18 months. I'm going to take the lowest comparable sale. Let's say it's $10,000 and divide by 4. And that's going to get me what Warren Buffett would call a 300% margin of safety. So I'm going to send you an actual offer of $2,500. Now you accept it. Why? Because for you, $2,500 is better than nothing. In reality, 3 to 5% of people are going to accept my quote unquote top dollar offer. But now that you've accepted it, I have to go through due diligence or in-depth research. I have to confirm you still own the property. I have to confirm back taxes are only $200. I have to make sure there's been no breaks in the chain of title, no liens or encumbrances. And all of this can be outsourced by a team. I use a team in Jamaica. They're connected to an American title company. It costs about $11 to do, but you can certainly outsource your due diligence very inexpensively. And that's for deals $5,000 or less. $5,000 or more, don't take title risk. Go through a traditional title company, or you want to save a little money, maybe an abstractor. But let's say everything checks out. I'm going to send you a check for $2,300, the treasurer for $200. I own it free and clear. And now, Brandon, I'm going to flip this property 30 days or less, and I'm going to make it cash flow like a rental home. So I have a built-in best buyer. Do you know who it is?
No.
The neighbors.
Ah.
So I'm going to send out neighbor letters saying, hey, here's your opportunity to protect your privacy, protect your views, know your neighbor. So oftentimes the neighbors will buy. Now, if they pass, I'll go to my buyers list. The buyers list passes. I'll go to a website you may have heard of. It's called Craigslist, 15th most trafficked website in the United States. I'll go to one I know you've heard of called Meta or Facebook, the buy-sell groups in the marketplace. And then I'm going to go to the lands. So land.com, landandhub.com, landandfarm.com, landflip.com, landmoto.com, landsofamerica.com. These are platforms where people buy and sell raw land. But the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to make it irresistible. So all I'm going to ask for is a $2,500 down payment for someone to control that 5-acre parcel. and then I'm making a car payment. Let's say $297 a month at 9% interest for the next 84 months. So I get this one-time sale. I get my money out on the down. I could go 6 to 10 months out. And now I'm getting $297 a month and 9% interest in the next 84 months. Brandon, no renters, no rehabs, no renovations, no rodents. And because I'm not dealing with a tenant, I'm exempt from Dodd-Frank, RESPA, and the SAFE Act, all this onerous real estate legislation. So it's a simple game. Can you create enough land notes where your passive income exceeds your fixed expenses? And then you're working because you want to, not because you have to.
That's beautiful. You mentioned something in there with an abstractor. So you've got the title companies, and then you've got a team in Jamaica for the low. What's an abstractor?
So an abstractor is the person that actually does the work for the title company. You can just go directly to them and save money. Okay. They actually go to the county and pull the files.
And do you have someone on your team specifically that will just be the abstractor for you, that you pay kind of full-time staff, or do you have someone you outsource that to, or how often do you use that?
We outsource that because, each county is going to need a different abstractor.
Okay. I see.
Typically. Yeah. I mean, if you're using, if you're doing big deals, you can use national title company, but even then you want to keep everybody honest.
Mm-hmm. What's the size deal that you recommend people start with? Say that maybe they have joint venture partners, and so they can kind of start in a certain niche, just wherever's the most, what's the most logical place to start?
It depends on their budget. So I have clients that have a very low budget and they want to look at properties that are $500. I have other clients with millions of dollars and they want to do bigger deals. Maybe they want to do a ranch. So, or, a big parcel to subdivide. It just depends on the budget. I'd say our bread and butter deal is about $3,500.
Okay. So $3,500. And then that's probably a reasonable place for someone to start. And if they didn't have the $3,500, they could get a joint venture partner, someone to come in with the money. But that $3,500 range, what do you like about that range?
Well, there's a lot of property in that range. And I just think that, when you flip it, it's a very easy car payment and you can get your money out very fast on those smaller deals. So those are really nice singles, but I wouldn't get a JV partner. I would get a debt partner. So you shouldn't give up equity on these deals at all because it's laborious and the money doesn't drive the deal. It's not like multifamily where if you can't raise $50 million, you don't have a deal, right? In these, $3,500, it shouldn't be hard to find. If you're making a 300 to 1,000% return on your money, it doesn't really matter what you borrow at.
And how do you, if you are putting things on payment plans, having things come in 84 months down the road, how do you have the liquidity to do the deals when you're first getting started? How do you recommend doing that?
So you can sell your note to an investor. And so you can get 2 bites of the apple. So let's say you've got a note worth $5,000, right? And you put in, let's say $2,200 into that property and you're getting that over time. Well, you could sell, say 12 months of that note to an investor. So now you're going to get maybe your money out to go and do it again. That investor will get a good return on their money as long as that person keeps making their payments. If they default, that's not a problem because you'd have a deal with, you would just resell it and get that note to perform again, or you would just make sure that it performs. And then the note would revert back to you. So you get 2 bites of the apple, essentially.
Interesting. Where do you find tell me the specifics of where to find that type of, who you sell the note to. Is that a company you go to? Or is this
you can go to a website like tlfolio.com.
Okay. Great. tlfolio.com. Yeah. I've never heard of that. That's interesting. Yeah. What's a software tool that you can't live without that you recommend to everyone? And maybe what's a tool that you're experimenting with right now?
So there's 2 tools I can't live without. And if you go to landgeek.com/resources, you'll see the 2 tools I use. It's lgpass.com and geekpay.io. So LGPass automates the business from your county research, getting a list, uploading that list, and sending out mailers. So it automates your mailers. And then you can put your due diligence into it. So it's like a CRM. Then you can handle your marketing in there. all the way to closing. What used to take 20 minutes of paperwork, you just press a button and it's done as well. And then on the back end for the note collection, the management, it's geekpay.io. It's a set it, forget it payment system.
And talk a little bit more about geekpay.io.
So geekpay.io. So basically, let's say that you're my borrower, right? I'm your lender. So basically what I'll do is I'll set up that note in geekpay.io. So you'll make the payment to me, you'll make your down payment, and then your monthly payments, I need to track. But I don't want to send you a notice every single month that you owe me this money. I certainly don't want to figure out the interest either. So geekpay.io does all the math of it. And so you'll give me your account number, your routing number. It'll automatically go into my account. What's kind of cool, though, is if your ACH fails on the checking account, it'll hit your credit card as a backup. So you're pretty assured of getting paid if you set it up. And the way it's done is you charge fees to your borrower. So geekpay.io is the only software I know of that actually makes you money.
That's great. So and it charges fees to the borrower when they miss a payment or when they're late or when it bumps over to a credit card, or what do you mean by that?
So there's a note collection fee because real estate always has fees. So you'll get a note collection fee. You'll also get a prorated fee for your real estate taxes. So you're not paying the property taxes, your borrower is. And then if they are late, then there would be a late fee as well.
Oh, wow. And so it literally makes you money. The service pays for itself.
Yeah. And so even if you have to hit the credit card, it'll charge a 3% convenience fee if you want it to.
Wow. It's fantastic. If you could post one message on the internet, on Twitter, and everyone on the internet would see it about land investing, what would you say?
I would say it's the best passive income model. And if you know something better, I'd love to know what it is, actually.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I have actually had a podcast called The Best Passive Income Model. Now it's the Art of Passive Income podcast. But essentially, I really just think that when it comes to a lifestyle business, there isn't a better one out there.
And what do you think about people talk about land investing like it's blue ocean, but it does seem like there's a lot of land investors out there. How much space is there in the market? Is it literally blue ocean? Do you see any changes between 10 years ago and today with the amount of land flippers that are out there?
Yeah, there's a lot more land flippers out there today, but when you look at the general market, it's still a very blue ocean because you, me, a million people could be in this niche. We'll all run out of money before we run out of deal flow. It's just, there's billions of acres available and there's no big money in it. There's no private equity groups. There's no hedge funds. They have too much money. You know, if you've got $1 billion, you want to buy productive farmland like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett or Jeff Bezos and make 8% on that. So in this niche, there's more people doing it, but it's sort of like all ships rise with the tide. It sort of just validates to the sellers in that marketplace, oh, this is the value of my property. If I'm the only one making offers, that's kind of a problem.
What do you think about your cold outreach? I know that you do mail. What do you think about mail versus cold calling versus texting?
Well, again, we can always make more money. We can't get more time. So I just want to look at the most efficient way to contact a seller. And that's going to be through the mail.
Okay. So it just comes down to.
Yeah. I mean, you can't text sellers legally. They have to opt in to do that as well. You could call. Again, it's a little bit of a gray area there.
Okay. What do you think the most innovative technique that you use that sets you apart from a lot of the other big land flippers out there?
I don't think I'm doing anything special or fancy or innovative. I just think I'm an inch wide and a mile deep, and I've just been doing it since 2000. And I just continually keep improving and compounding what we do. And it's just consistency.
And you mentioned building systems in the beginning, and I think that's kind of the beauty of this for me. It's like this very scalable building systems structured thing, which just is exciting for me. Can you go run through your tech stack, kind of the tools that you use and how they fit together briefly?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just lgpass.com, geekpay.io. I'd say as you start to grow and you have more sales, I would use a tool like followupboss.com. And certainly for automation, I would use Zapier every day, just in your own tech stack.
And how many people do you have on a team, and what would a skeleton sized team look like if you were trying to kind of get up and running efficiently? And then what does a team look like once you get to your size or in between?
So when you first start, you just start building your team slowly. You outsource what you hate doing the most. And for a lot of people, that's going to be intake. That's going to be talking to the sellers after they get an offer. And so it's it's going to be someone who speaks good English and is working on US hours. And then you can certainly incentivize that person. If they close a deal and they save you money in a negotiation, maybe they get an extra hour bonus. So you've got intake, you've got due diligence, you've got marketing, you've got sales, and then you have an acquisition manager that manages all those people. I would say that our average client is spending between software and virtual assistants $1,000 to $2,000 a month on doing that.
And with intake, you'd be kind of doing the due diligence or excuse me, pricing the deal yourself for that lead, and then you'd be given to that intake person. They'd be calling the landowner saying they'd be doing the sales. This is the offer that we have. This is our top dollar offer, as you put it.
So if I make you an offer and you respond to it, then that person would be intake, because you might want to just call and yell at me about the offer. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to do the intake to make sure that they understand the closing process. If there is going to be a closing process, they're filtering and talking to those sellers.
And how long do you generally try to make your close, and what's the contract and the close and the due diligence timeline?
Well, we will tell them it's going to take us about 7 days to do due diligence. It takes about a day. Mm-hmm. So we buy time that way.
Okay. So talk about some of the businesses and the things that you do adjacent to land, because I know you're not just a land investor, but you have coaching and software tools and things like that. Talk about some of that.
So, for me, I've been a land investor really full time since 2001, and I love land investing, but really it helps sort of just my family, right? Nobody who bought a piece of land from me ever said, "Mark, you changed my life with this parcel of land." They like the land, but it's not life-changing. But once I started teaching people how to really solve not just their money problems, but also their time problems, and escape what I call solo economic dependency, which means if they're personally not working, they're not making any money, they're spending more time with their family, their friends, they're living their best life. They're moving up Maslow's hierarchy of needs into self-actualization, where they can really have the time and energy and resources to discover their greatest purpose in life. And so for me, that's been the most gratifying thing that I've done professionally, is just helping as many people as I can become totally free and work when they want, where they want, and with whom they want. And so I provide then as many tools as I can to make it as easy for those people as well. Because let's face it, nothing's easy, right? It's a simple model, but it ain't easy.
And so how do people work with you as far as that goes? Do you have a community? Do you do personal coaching?
Yeah, we do all of it. I mean, you can just start at thelandgeek.com. You can get the book Dirt Rich as well, and start there. So there's so many avenues to do it. But I would say starting at thelandgeek.com is probably the best way.
And where are other places that people can find you online? Is that the number one place? YouTube and Twitter, good spots?
Yeah, I mean, my team manages that. YouTube, there's lots of information there. I'd say the podcast is just a wealth of information as well. I'm sure I post stuff on Twitter, but I don't know. I'm sure it's there.
What's another kind of unusual habit or absurd thing that you love about land?
Well, I love the fact that it's the only thing in life that lasts. So everything in our lives is going to go away except for this piece of raw land. And so I think it's just such a cool legacy to leave people, is this raw land. And, we all know, there's rural land that we looked at when we were growing up, like who would ever buy that land? Right. And now you're like 20 years later, holy cow, I wish I bought that 20 years ago. So, it's, the raw land's like wine. It just ages really well.
Yeah. Well, what really sticks out to me about your whole journey is how you, as you put it, moved up the hierarchy of needs, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and how you've gone from just wanting to make money now to more of a philosophical approach and trying to leave a legacy and help people. So that is, I think, one of the most fantastic testaments to land. It's put you in a spot where you're doing what you're doing. That's great, Mark. So I really appreciate your time today. Thank you for coming on to the Legends of Land podcast and help people like me who are getting started. And do you have any final thoughts for the listeners or the people out there doing land?
Yeah, I mean, I love this Zig Ziglar quote. If you'll do for the next 3 to 5 years what other people won't do, you'll be able to do that for the rest of your life what other people can't do. And notice he didn't say the next 3 to 5 months. It's next 3 to 5 years. So you really have to be committed to building something.
Wonderful. On that note, thank you for coming on the show. The legend himself, the land geek, Mark Podolsky. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Brandon.